Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the Charsoon Magic Charging System. This is a pretty unique charging system. It's a modular based system and comes in a variety of different parts. You can get them individually. The main part here is called the Magic Core. This is the bigger piece here. It's got a touchscreen and a port in the back here for the power adapter, which is right here. The power adapter is a 12 volt 10 amp power adapter and has a barrel connector. On each side of the core you can take these little covers off and then you can attach these modules, or called cubes. There's currently 4 different types of cubes and they charge different types of batteries. This one here, for example, will charge DJI Phantom batteries. And I don't happen to have any Phantom batteries, so I won't be able to show you how this one works, but I can show you how the other two work. There's a fourth one that I don't have here in the video because they are back ordered on those, and I won't have that for a while. It's still back ordered and hasn't even shipped yet, so I decided to go ahead and make this video. I'll put a little picture here actually on the screen of what that looks like. That fourth module charges like JST batteries with the micro LiC connectors, and also the same batteries that charge on the tiny whoops. So actually that's a pretty useful module for the types of batteries that I happen to charge. Unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show that in this video. I'll probably do that in a future video in case you guys are asking. The last two modules here are going to be this one here. This will charge up to a 6S battery, so basically 1S to 6S, and you would plug in your battery on the right hand side here, lining up the negative, and I'll demonstrate that a little bit later. To connect these cubes to the core, you just connect it like so, and then they just snap into place by sliding on. There's a binding procedure to actually get the core to recognize this, and I'll show you that in a moment. The last module here is a USB charger, and you have 4 USB ports that will charge up to 5 volts and 2 amps on each port, and then those charge statuses show up on a screen here, and I'll show that as well. The manual that this comes with is mediocre at best, I would say. It did take a little bit of figuring out how to get this to work, but once you figure it out, it's not that bad, and I'll just show you how I got this working in the video, obviously. So if you have any trouble with the manual, just watch this video and you'll be able to get this working. So the last thing that the core comes with are these little stickers that have numbers on them, and they're labeled from 1 to 16. You can use these to label your different cubes. So for example, ideally you'd want to have multiple ones of these. If you want to charge multiple batteries at the same time, you can do that. I only have one of these, so I can only demonstrate charging one battery is plugged into this, and say another battery plugged into the USB cube. But if you have multiple ones of these, you can label them, and then each one of those will show up on the screen, actually on a separate screen in the main charger, so that you can see the charge status of each particular cube, and that's why the numbers are important. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you the binding process right now. So in order to bind up your core to the various cubes, you give it power first. And let me go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so in order to do the binding, you have to make sure the core is turned on, and then you grab one of your cubes and you plug it in while the power is turned on. It doesn't really matter which side you put it on because it's going to be numbered. So I'm going to put this one on the right. And as soon as you plug it in, you get a white light here. And then you want to go to the settings to bring up the binding process. You get this screen here, and you want to go to the next screen to do the binding. Go one more, the third one over. And here we get a number. Since this is the first one that we've connected, it will be module number 1. We'll hit OK. Get a check mark, and then the light turns from a white color to a sort of a light green color. And then we know at that point that the binding is confirmed. If you don't do the binding, then you won't be able to do any kind of charging whatsoever. So you got to do this first, and hit the back button to go back. On this screen we can change your different modes. There's only two modes. There's charge and storage. This may change in a future firmware update for this core at some point. For the battery types, there's LiPo, Li-Fi, and high voltage. And there's two different charging modes, mode A and mode C. Mode C is based on the C rating of the battery, and mode A is based on the current output of the charger. And we'll go ahead and use mode A. That's one that's most familiar with most people. We'll go back to the main screen here. And here in the main screen you can see the milliamp hours of the battery that you want to charge and the amperage of the charger output. So go ahead and we'll now bind up the second module here. This is the USB module. Okay, so in order to bind up another module here, we have to disconnect the module that we just bound and then connect up the other module you want to bind up and then give it a number. So I'll go ahead and disconnect this one. I want to put this one on the left hand side. You get a white light. And go to the binding screen. Gonna make that module 2. Hit OK, we get a check mark and the light turns green here, so we know that we're now bound. And at this point we can go back out and I can connect up the module that we've already bound. I should remember that that's module 1. And now we have a green light here and a green light here. And we'll go ahead and we'll charge the battery here, and we'll see that it'll automatically bring up the charge screen. So let's go back. So I'm just going to charge up this 4-cell battery here. And what's kind of different about this charger is you don't plug in the main battery lead, it just charges off of the balance lead. So it is charging each individual cell one at a time, which is kind of nice. You want to make sure that you line up your negative, which is over here on the right, to the very far right of the port on this one. So it should be like that. And as soon as you plug in it, it'll just start charging. And plug it in. Get a red light, which means it's charging. And I can go back out here to the main screen, and then we can see that this module is now charging. And you can see the status of each individual cell, as well as the total voltage of the battery and the number of amps being put into the battery. Additionally, you can see that it's charging on module 1 right there at the very top, and it shows the status as charging over here on the right. So I'll go ahead and I'll put something into the USB port here, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I'm just going to charge up this HD camera. I'm going to plug in my USB cord here, and then plug it into the camera. And as soon as the charging has started, it bumps right over to a new screen here. It says module 2, and you can see that it's charging at 5 volts and 0.5 amp on port 1, which is this one here. You can see the ports are numbered. If I move it over to port 2, it'll start charging on port 2. Just move that over. And you can see that the status is switched over here. It's now charging at 0.5 amp on port 2. If we use the touchscreen and slide, you can go to the other module and see what the status is on that one. So you can see that it's charging on both of them at the same time. If we have more than 2 modules, I believe that it waits for the 2 modules to finish charging before it charges any additional modules that are connected. So you could have, say, 2 force batteries charging, and then once those are done, it will go ahead and start automatically charging the other modules in the order that you plug them in. Anyway guys, this is a quick look at the Charsoon Magic Charging System. I think it's pretty unique and interesting, and I like the concept that you can have this as a modular system, and you can add additional modules as you need them to charge as many batteries as you need, and it just make things a little bit more simplified in terms of just ease of use. It's a little bit tricky in terms of the setup, but actually once you watch this video and figure out how to set this up, it's actually not that bad. once you don't do the binding. And everything's just, you plug it in and all these screens just pop up automatically, which is something I like a lot. So I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.